Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I'll tell you what I've decided to do about this. The fact that the Kerbals didn't hop in the rocket like I told them to. What I have decided to do is we will leave Valentina at home, and we'll put Supant into here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make a very, very abbreviated rocket here. So we're going to pull off the radial decoupler. Come on. Oh, we're in crew mode. Okay, we're going to pull off the radial decoupler there. We're going to pull off all of this. Everything except for the advanced grabbing unit up here. Like so. We are going to pull off all of these boosters, this decoupler as well. We're going to leave the engine, but we're going to have a very abbreviated engine here. And what I've decided to do is I'm just going to cheat these guys out there as if the rocket had been there. And we're just going to hook this up, and then we're going to transfer them on over, the three of them. And then at that point... And we don't have a pilot here, so one thing I might want to do is put on a remote guidance unit, just in case, like one of these, just in case we need an autopilot. And I'm not even going to save this. We're just going to launch it, and we're going to cheat it to the asteroid, is the idea. If I can do that, if I can figure out how to do it. And then we're just going to transfer them and then untrack this. So that way it'll be exactly as if the Kerbals had hopped in the rocket like they were supposed to. Okay, so. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we can do a set orbit. And we want to set it for... Where are we? This is going to be a lengthy list, isn't it? Oh boy, this is going to be a very lengthy list. We are looking for a Grabber Mark 1. Any Grabber Mark 1. We don't really care. Well, what else do we have? Oh. That's a Grabber Mark 1 debris. Grabber Mark 1 debris. That's a bunch of asteroids. Uh-huh. I think we've looped around. Let's just go to Sun for now. And let's set orbit. Okay, so here we are over the sun, and now we need to try to put it on the Snedgus Mark 6 lander, which is right here. So I guess it renamed it. So let's go ahead and go to the... Actually, we might be faster going backwards. Snedgus Mark 6 lander is what we're looking for. This guy. Selected vessel is the active vessel. What? That's a little weird. I guess this is a Snedgus Mark 6 lander. Okay, so we need a different Snedgus Mark 6 lander. Okay. This one. Okay. Placed active vessel 150 meters away. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and burn towards the target a little bit. And we are just going to go ahead and transfer this crew. And then once the crew is transferred, then we're going to detach this guy. So we're going to go ahead and just hook right on up, and we're going to target center of mass. And we're going to throttle on up to about 1 meter per second. We're only 150 meters away, so that will not take very long at all to get there. And then we're just going to transfer these guys over and ditch this. I'll eat the cost. I'm not concerned about that. Shouldn't even have really brought the Gigantors, but I was more interested in getting here quickly than anything else. Okay. So, we'll be able to attach up right here. Will we be able to transfer crew directly in? Probably not, but we'll try. We may have to spacewalk them. There we go. Okay, so can we transfer crew? Transfer crew. We want to transfer Supant into here. Oh, we can. Okay, that makes things easy. Jennifer, let's get you over to here. And Frandis, let's get you into the mobile processing lab. Excellent. Okay. With that done, performed a crew transfer near the sun, yeah. With that done, we have our 3 engineers. Excellent. So now all we need to do is release this advanced grabbing unit, and off goes this guy. And we're just going to go ahead and break orbit here. I mean, this isn't really an orbit, but we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. And then we're just going to untrack this. It's like it never happened. There we go. Space Center. Well, that was the first time I've ever used that set orbit feature. That's a weird one. I mean, it's obviously a cheat, but I was just fixing that bug. So, it's all good. We're going to hop back to the Space Center, and we're going to untrack this guy. The guy with no crew. So come on back to the Space Center computer as soon as it's loaded. Tracking station. And come on. Because we hauled all of the parts. We just... oh boy. Okay, mission elapsed time of 35 seconds. This is the one. We're going to go ahead and terminate that. There we go. And now we've got the Snedgus Mark 6 lander. And we'll go ahead and fly that just to double check that it all worked. I believe it did. Now, as for why the mining keeps turning itself off, I really don't know. That's a little bit weird. I've never experienced that before. I've done a little bit with the mining system in this game before, and I've never had it just turn itself off that way before. Is it that the ore hold is filling? Is it... I'm not sure what it is. Like, this ore hold is not full. We are not currently mining. For reasons. So, go ahead and mine. Please. Start asteroid harvester. And this one should start up as well. Whatever it can do. It can't do a ton. But that's fine. Go ahead and start. And over here as well. Go ahead and start. Okay, we should be building up a good amount of fuel, actually. Half a unit per second. That's not bad at all. Our liquid fuel is going down because our load is going down. Presumably, we are unable to produce enough ore. But the mass of this rock is also going down substantially, so I just want to... Yeah, I mean, the years that have passed really should have ditched the... Yeah, see, they just stop. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this to Jewel Base. There we go. So why did it stop? The hold isn't full. Missing ore. So it just stops after a few days. Why does that happen? I guess I should look that up, shouldn't I? Let's see here. Where are we? Oh, come on. There's one. Start asteroid harvester. And let's start Asteroid Harvester, because we desperately need to lower the mass of this thing. Our thrust to weight ratio is apparently negative. Let's go ahead and actually shut down the engine here and the engine here. There we go. Now we've got just these 4 that would turn on. Well, that's good. Our thrust to weight is still basically 0, so we've got 25 meters per second of delta V. So yeah, the question is, why is this shutting down? And I'm going to look this up. KSP drills stopping. Why are the drills stopping? The drills stop when I restore focus to the ship, blah blah blah. Let's see here. No messages were presented, sufficient power and cooling. Sometimes they keep running, no problem. Sometimes they just stop right after I leave. Problem with KSP's activation of physics calculations on a craft when it's landed and focus is switched to it. Using landing legs and don't lock them. Okay. Okay, well, let's check this. I'm not seeing anything hugely there, but our thermal efficiency here, we have plenty of cooling, so let's just go ahead and see. And it's shut down, I think. Yep. It's shut down. So why are they doing that? This seems like a rather large problem, considering the entire plan is to convert this rocket, or to convert this asteroid to fuel. Like, I understand why the ones that are not getting cooled are shutting down, but the ones that are getting cooled shouldn't be. After just a couple of days is the thing. Well, not even a couple days. Just a little bit of time. Like, we're still at 92.792%. Sure, the mass is dropping, but not as much as it could be. Do I have to babysit this and just do it off camera for a really long time? Maybe. For now, let's go ahead and head back to the Space Center. And I think we are going to be best off to check for another contract. So I think, going to have to try to figure that out. Try to figure out if there's a better way to do it. Like, the real question is, why is it stopping? Was it power? Surely it wasn't running out of power. Hang on, I want to go back. I want to figure this out. If it was power, we could put a power module on there. That's not a big deal. That said, if it was power, adding in the extra... adding in the habitation module should have helped that substantially, because that's 4 additional Gigantors, a 50% increase, theoretically. But, I mean, we could put in a power module if that is indeed the problem. I don't know that that's the problem. If they're running out of power, that would explain a lot. Let's check. Let's see here. Electric charge going down. They're running out of power. I gotcha. Okay. So we need to put a power module onto this thing. Well, that seems doable. So, with that in mind, there are a few things we could do. We could load on RTGs. We could load on some Gigantors. And more importantly, we could also have some batteries. Because that'll be a pretty big deal. Energy flow on these Gigantors is under 1. And we need 17 electric charge, is the thing. Okay, so that's the problem. We need to get power to this thing. There is no doubt about that. Also, what happens if we do this? Okay, we'll go ahead and toss that into the lab. And the lab can start processing a bit. So we need 17 power production is the answer. We'll go ahead and start research. There we go. So yeah, we need 17 power. Let's head back to the Space Center. Now that we know what the problem is, let's put on a power module. And the question is, how are we going to produce 17 power? Well, it's a good question. We'll have to figure this out. But we definitely need to get a power module onto that asteroid stat. How much power does an RTG produce per second, is my question. If we can get 17 RTGs crammed into a power module, and then toss a couple Gigantors, like our standard 4 Gigantors, we should, I think, be fine. That said, we're probably not going to get this attached up today. That is, by today I mean this episode. Since there's only 9 minutes left. We can get this designed, though. And I really want to get this fixed. Like, at this point, it's a little insane, but we need 17 power flow. Call it 18 power flow. How much do we get from an RTG? We get 0.8. Interesting. So let's go ahead and open ourselves up a grabber. And we know that this thing can get there. However, we also know that this particular grabber, does not need ore tanks, miners, a convertatron. There we go. Grabbing module there. That's the fairing. Okay, so that's all fine. It's got those Gigantors now. And so let's think about... Oh my, that's not what I meant to grab. That's what I meant to grab. Let's think about tossing on... Actually, now that I think about it, let's keep the mech jeb on here, but let's move the mech jeb to like here for now. Let's ditch the science experiments. We do not need any more of those there, that's for sure. There we go. And let's not click out of the window. We'll put that right there. And we'll keep the Communitron inside, but for now we'll move it out. I'll need to remember to move those things back inside the fairing, and let's ditch the battery packs. And for right now, I want to have some 4K rechargeable battery packs on this. So let's do something along the lines of 4. That'll be a huge increase to the length of time. But more importantly, we also need to have on here a structural, or rather a payload. And that'll be a 2.5 meter service bay. And inside of this service bay, we are going to put some RTGs. Now the question is, how many can we fit in this thing? And that's a good question. Let's put this into mirror symmetry for now. And the answer appears to be a lot. What happens if we put this into 8-way symmetry? Yeah, that's more like what I'm looking for. So here's 8 RTGs. That's good. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, let's get ourselves 8 more RTGs. And let's put them... let's not snap the angle. And let's put them right here. Okay, that's 16 RTGs, each producing 0.8. And then let's get ourselves another 8. That's 24 RTGs. And that should be sufficient. Do RTGs produce heat? Max cooling of 0 kilowatts. Optimum temp 350 Kelvin. Shutdown temp 100,000 Kelvin. Okay. So let's go ahead and toss on, just to be safe, a couple of radiator panels onto here. Something kind of like that. They do produce heat, so that should be fine. And then we do have Gigantors on here as well, although I would like to move those down here. Like so. Fantastic. And now let's go ahead and move the antenna back into here. We do not need a four-way symmetry, and yes, this thing is very expensive. I blame the RTGs. And let's come on down here. Computer flight unit and mech jib. Okay. And let's save this as the power module. So this thing will produce a lot of power. Realistically, how much power does it produce? Well, one thing we could do is we could have it launch with one of these batteries empty. And let's just save that. And I just want to see how much power it generates. Over the course of the launch, it'll fill that battery. No problem. But I just want to see just how much it generates from RTGs. We know that the Gigantors are going to be about equivalent to an RTG, so each one of those will, or in total, they're going to be producing about 3.2. The Gigantors will. So this should be sufficient, even with the radiators. So come on, load on up. 17.95 is the answer. Let's deploy this fairing. And let's activate all of these radiators. I'm not going to be launching this, obviously. There's no doubt about that. That ain't happening. But just from RTGs, it looks like we are generating roughly sufficient power. So that's good. Oh, did that one not turn on? Yeah, that one didn't turn on. Okay, turn this one on. Come on. There we go. And this one. One of these days. There we go. Okay, 17.75 without the Gigantors open. Nice. And it's also going to be coming with a big boost there. Okay, so let's go ahead and revert this to launch. And with that reverted to launch, let's just get this thing on its way. We're definitely not going to be able to get it there this episode. But we can get it on its way, so that'll be fine. We need to get this power module there ASAP. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to get that thing mined out. So let's go ahead and engage autopilot. And as soon as it lets me zoom out a bit here, we will launch. Now we've got 12,000 meters per second. That should be enough, because let's see here, 3,000 plus 2,000, 5,000 for that, about 2,000 for that, 7,000, and then a couple hundred here or there. Yeah, it should be sufficient. Realistically, I think about 11k is how much we need in total. MechJeb stopped updating there for a moment. But we have about 12k in total for this thing, so this should be sufficient. Out of curiosity. Yeah, that's fine. Excellent. Okay. So, off we go. As soon as we get into orbit here, I mean, this thing is maybe slightly heavier than the other modules, but not hugely heavier. It should be more than enough delta V to get there. Like I said, I think it takes somewhere around 11,000 delta V. And we started this with like over 12,000, so we should have plenty of pad. As long as I don't mess anything up. Oh, that would be just like me. Also, I'd like to point out our electric charge is already full. So there's that. Okay, so our apoapsis height is going up. Of course, this stuttering is getting worse and worse as the game goes on. There's some sort of a memory leak, I'm like 95% sure, and that's a garbage collection stutter. Like, that really feels like garbage collection. So, The game clearly needs to be restarted, but this is the end of the last episode. I'm just gonna keep going here until we actually make it out of the Kerbal gravitational influence. That'll be the goal. Okay, so we are pushing up nicely here. I'm going to go ahead and, as we drop, turn on RCS to combat the pitch, since we don't want that pitch. Excellent. And we still have a little bit of time to burn once we get to space. Let's go ahead and ditch our fairing. There we go. And that will help us a little bit. Fantastic. Now, do I think that these radiator panels are going to be very useful? Actually, no. I kind of don't. I would like to open up this thing and take a quick look inside of here as we're going up. If the garbage collection lets me. There we go. I can't get there from here. Okay, here's an RTG. Okay, looks like we're good. The hope is maybe we'll be able to use these to cool the other miner, but I really don't think we will. It's probably just a waste of money. But let's just go directly prograde and let's get on out of here. RCS, you can be off. And ditch our side stages. There we go. Fantastic. That's beautiful. Okay, so as soon as we break orbit, then that's going to be where the cut is. So this burn is going to be going on for a little longer. The UI is starting to bug out and not update here and there. So good thing this is the last episode. This clearly needs a restart of the game. But that's okay. So we'll be able to get out of here, and we'll be able to do a fair amount of inclination change with this booster probably. And then we'll do our primary burn here. But it shouldn't be too bad. We've got plenty of Delta V to get there, I think. So let's just go ahead and get this burn finished up, and as soon as we escape here, then it'll be time to call it a day on the old recording for me. This is the final episode that I will be recording today, so that's exciting for me. I get to be done with work for the day. I mean, I call it work, but it's playing KSP. Does that qualify as work? I mean, I don't get paid, since I can't monetize. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. But for right now, hi to my viewer. Maybe there's two of you. Actually, I think my KSP videos have been doing reasonably well recently. Let me check. Yeah, actually, I've been getting, like, quite a few views on my KSP videos recently. Quite a few for me. Like, 8 to 10 views, which for me is pretty good. I'm reasonably happy with that. I mean, getting money for this would be nice, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, we have escaped. So I'm going to go ahead and put that cut in here, and next episode, we will take this power module to the asteroid station so that we can actually mine it out. See you all next time.